Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself, or know your nation, know yourself. The two are interchangeable. And of course, it is Saturday night, Saturday midnight here for me. And of course, it's what's the time in New Mexico, Lady G? I forget. Are you 6 hours behind?
It's 5 p.m. here.
All right, 5 p.m. 5 p.m. So, of course, Lady G over there. And, of course, it is, if I recall correctly, 9 a.m. Australia time.
It's 9 a.m. Sunday morning, and I've got home not long ago. It was an
pray tell, Lena.
Epic Balkan dance party. It just went off. And what I love, what actually really moves me, is to see Serbs and Croatians playing music together after the war. You know, so it was very emotional and fabulous, and
Wow.
But I'm here. I've just taken off my stamp, my disco stamp.
I don't know, Lena. You just have too much fun.
I mean, there is definitely the thing is like if you think you're having fun in your life and what have you, and then you hear a bit of Lena's life and you're just like, you know what, that really is it. Because I mean, honestly, guys, I mean, there are stories that we can't even tell you that happen.
This is the sanitized version.
But, fabulous as always. And let me just put my phone on airplane mode so we don't get interrupted, just in case there might be a beep or a squeak. And I have the show ready here. And I was just, guys, I don't know if you guys are having a bit of the Mercury retrograde action. Restarted my computer just to it took 20 minutes for it to reboot and upload itself. And I was like, what is this? Mercury retrograde, absolute classic, but we've made it. We've made it here. The chat is absolutely alive and popping. Someone saying here, I'm moving to Australia and hanging out with Lena in my next life. Let me click on that. Let me just see if that's actually going to come up. Let's see how quickly my computer responds. There we are. Chris Cassidy says that, moving to Australia. Aren't we all? Aren't we all? So, first of all, let me quickly grab my cards. And of course, thank you for joining us, everyone. You're all piling in. And please don't forget as well to like and subscribe to the channel. The ladies' channels will be in the video description below. And I'll put that in, of course, at the end of the show. It's just been one of those kind of busy days today. It's been a lot of fun, but it's been very busy. And ladies, are you ready for the first question? All right. So we're going to be going to, now this is interesting. We're going to be going to Thailand in our esoteric aeroplane. And then we're going to have a bit of Germany. And then what else we're going to be looking at? A bit of Russia, Ukraine, and then of course some bits and bobs as well. Oh, China as well. We need to visit.
Oh goodness!
And then there's some questions, of course, on Cruz, Ted Cruz and Hawley, and of course we'll fling in a duck l'orange. So let's start with Thailand, because we've not. I don't think we've been there in our esoteric aeroplane yet. No. So this is coming from Cherie, and they're saying I find. Oh, wait, no, that's not it. No, here we are. No, Nick Minks. Sorry, Nick Minks. So Thailand's parliament has picked, forgive me if I butcher the name, Paitongtarn Shinawatra. Forgive me, that was probably an absolute murdering of that name. The daughter of billionaire tycoon and former leader Thaksin as prime minister. So basically Thailand's parliament has picked the daughter of billionaire tycoon and former leader Thaksin. So Thaksin is now the prime minister. Will she be able to bring her coalition colleagues into agreement and get the government working? Do the cards show how Thailand's future looks? So let's just read on the energy of that.
Will it be a success or will it be more of the same? Female leader, yeah?
Yeah. Very different question. Thanks for that question, Nick Mix. Not been to Thailand yet for ever, I don't think.
Well, I've been a few times because one of the main routes to fly to and from Australia is via Bangkok. So most Australians cut their teeth, you know, in Thailand.
Wow. But I don't think we've had even a Thailand question before, have we? I think this is the first.
And I think I'm right in saying this. I think it's the only Asian nation that has never been colonized by the West or the East.
Wow.
Can someone let us know?
That's quite something. So for me, absolute stone cold read. I don't even have a whiff of an inkling.
Yes, and I have no idea about the politics of Thailand.
But that's what we love about the show, isn't it? Is
Totally.
You never know what you're going to get. All right. Sometimes the stone cold reads are the best. Ooh, interesting.
Okay, I can go if you like.
Go for it, Lena.
Well, the first card was one of conflict with this Five of Wands. People in a circle fighting. And I thought, oh, here we go, you know, whatever. And intrepid viewers will know how I hate family dynasties or dynasties in politics. And I was going, things are happening very, very, very quickly. This is her victory. And the next cards, to me, with this Page of Wands, saying she is a compelling enough speaker to make a difference in a good way, and she has the Strength card. So against the odds and my own prejudice, it looks all right for now.
Fascinating, fascinating. Lady G, what do you have? What do your cards say about the situation?
At the center of it, it's things that are, you know, difficult coming into it, that wanting to end some of those things. But coming into it, we have, I think people are looking at her first a bit negatively, and that what's going on now, you know, watching the timing of this, not liking things that are coming in. So the challenge is her being able to sell what she wants to do going forward. But the outcome is she is going to hold on to it. She's going to have a difficult time, but she will make it through. But, you know, coming into it, they're kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's all that argy-bargy now. Yes.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense. And as you know, stone cold read, first read, I think, on Thailand. And I just have to just say what I see. And the first card is actually ironic because, you know, Lena says she doesn't like a family dynasty. And look what comes out first. So I think this really is talking about, this is a family affair. And of course, you know, so this is, you know, the happy ideal family, 10 of Cups and stuff like that, people playing. So what this says to me is, without knowing anything about the situation at all, this could show that there may be some initial optimism or at least hopefulness that potentially her tenure, however long it lasts, could maybe bring a brighter future. But literally, this is the family here. So we can see that family legacy there very obviously. If we look here, though, in the next position, we get the Justice card. So again, I don't know anything about the question, but what this says to me is that, is there potentially a hope that she could bring more law and order to the country, or some sense of trying to do things to reduce corruption or potentially stuff like that? Because we do have the Justice card here, and the first card is positive. So it's almost like trying to bring justice to families. Not only this is obviously her own family, but this can talk about the families of Thailand. And maybe that's why she has come in. Maybe people see her as this kind of new kind of force. And of course, the Justice card is a female as well. However, look, something gets taken off someone has to exit stage left. This can be the card of retirement or being wounded in battle and stuff like that. So I have a feeling that sword may get waved around. So if anyone can let us know in the comments, if there's any old cronies around, anyone that might be a little bit of dead wood, she might have a swing and a chop and they may be taken off the stage. But the positive interpretation of this would be meditation and reflecting on things, maybe now that she's leader. However, it's not so easy. We can see here we've got the Two of Swords here. So what this says to me is that she's potentially going to have some difficult decisions to make, particularly if she's going to be coming in as a reforming force, particularly as that Justice card would allude to. So I think she's got some difficult decisions, and there may be some things that either she doesn't want to see or others don't want to. But it seems to me that she might have some kind of strong economic plans for Thailand as well, because we've got the Three of Wands here, which of course is famously the merchant looking out to sea, waiting for the ships to come in, which of course is very relevant to Thailand. So what this suggests to me is if she can get over the hills and the bumps, it looks like she might be wanting to improve the economic prospects of Thailand. Anything to add to that, ladies?
Yes, thank you, Living Creatively in the comments. Yes, used to be Siam and never colonized.
Wow.
Not many countries can say that.
Indeed. And I just want to give a quick thank you to Esther. Thank you so much for your donation. And also as well, thank you, Catherine, as well, for your donation as well. Much appreciated. And of course, it gets shared with the ladies as well. All right. So we go on to the next question. What was this? Oh, wait. Someone's saying here, Connie B saying, Lena was dancing and singing and moving to the groove. And just when it hit her, somebody shouted, play that funky music, wild girl. And yeah, right. She carried on. Yeah. All right, so the next question here. Now we're going to Germany, and this is an interesting one. So again, this is Nick Mintz, but I didn't know this was going on here. So she says 10,000 people living near a military base in Western Germany were told to stop using tap water on Thursday night, as authorities investigated a case of possible sabotage at a water supply site. Do the cards come out that do the cards indicate the usual suspects being involved? So let's have a look about this water sabotage. Let's see what the cards have to say in German.
Let's have a look. Yeah. Well, I hope with the Harris-Walsh administration, they get around to fixing the drinking water problems in the US too, because we all know about Flint, Michigan, and that's been going on for 25 years, but it's not the only place. I think Jackson, Mississippi and other places.
Lead piping. Some places are still using lead piping, which I just find absolutely astonishing. I mean, that's Victorian. And even they worked out that wasn't good for you after a while.
So was it an act of sabotage?
Was there an act of sabotage? Let's see, was there an act of sabotage? German water, was it an act of sabotage? Interesting question.
I don't know.
We'll see if there's sneaky cards involved. Who's ready to go?
What about you, Lady G? I've got to think about this.
I'll go ahead and try. The center of it is about new information coming out about where they're living, what's going on with that. The energy coming into it is being out in the cold with this, expecting the craftiness is, of course, the suspect of this. unfortunately, right now, what's going on, it's going to be a hard won lesson and things that are hidden still to be discovered. The challenge is, of course, the drinking water. They're having the conversations about this with the outcome of, things are kind of blocked coming in, going forward. So it looks like it's still really in discussion, looking at exactly what's going on. It's not giving me a totally yes or no.
Yes. Yes. I can identify with that. So, yeah, I think they acted quite quickly on the information that they got with this chariot. So this is with this Ace of Pentacles, Pentacles being ruled by the Earth, and also this is, it can be fool's gold too. So assuming water is safe, not so much now, but when I was growing up, you only had tank water, so you had to trust it or you died. No one had bottled water, Queen of Cups rules water. She's got her lid on the cup. Don't drink the water.
Wow.
Then there's the Death card, and I don't want to be that dramatic. I think it's simply saying there is something problematic and nefarious. This isn't just flood water or something. There's something, I think this is the key to this read. Something did happen, and people are upset and have their swords raised and want to know what happened. And lots of talking with these birds.
Yeah, maybe there is something there. And just to give you a little update, so everyone's piling in. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to support the channel. The ladies' channels will also be in the video description below. We've just hit 1,300 of you joining us live now. Thank you so much. I don't know where Lena's vanished off to, but what I would say here, though, Lady G, is Salome says, "Lady looking beautiful." Of course, lady looking beautiful. And we've got this here as well. Carmen T, thank you. Thank you so much for your donation. And she's saying, "Greeting you lovely trifecta. This planetary alignment more or less crashed my computer, my recordings, and my mind. Yes, sorting this out. When will this end?" Good question. So thank you so much for your donation. I'll read my cards. So at the moment, we do have a lot of planets retrograde. Saturn is retrograde. Neptune is retrograde. Pluto is retrograde. Mercury is retrograde. Uranus will go retrograde, I think, soon. I think at the end of August. And then we'll even have Jupiter going retrograde in October. So everything, guys, it's like a grinding down. Mercury stops going retrograde, I think, around about the end of August. But you got the shadow period and stuff. But the big one really is the Saturn. When you get the big planets going retrograde, everything is like, goes back. Anyway, right. So with the cards that I've got here, is it sabotage? Was something going on? But if we look here, certainly money changed hands at some point. Quite literally, we can see here, this is literally the wealthy merchant paying someone. So this immediately is already a little bit suspicious, isn't it? Because it means money's changed hands, and the context is it corruption? Is it nefarious? So we're already getting some clues. We look here in the obstacle position. Yeah, there's a lot of heartache. 10,000 people can't drink the water. And let's not forget, this is Germany, guys, where everything is efficient. I mean, you get told off by your neighbors for not using the right recycling box on the right day. Yes. And I know because I've got some German friends, and it's very strict. So for the water not to be drinkable, that is shocking,
shocking.
For people. Yeah. Shocking in Germany. So obviously, heartbreak about that. But looky here, if we needed any more little clues, a certain lady has turned up, and we all know who this is. Because I associate, as you know, the Empress sometimes with America, but mainly with Russia. Yeah. So, as I always say, what is underneath the Empress's skirts? Not tumbleweed on this occasion, maybe some kind of poison seaweed or something has been thrown in there somewhere. Who knows? But I have to cover her naughty bits, the nipplage, but the world, yeah. So again, this is showing a big cycle. It can show cycles coming to an end or something new beginning. So is this a new phase potentially in a Russia phase to disrupt? And of course, let's not forget, Germany relied a lot on Russian petrol, fuel, oil, so it's not too implausible, is it? And then the outcome card, it's the Wheel of Fortune. So again, it's kind of, this is a bit unpredictable.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. There needs to be more evidence for us to know if this is a trend, but it certainly seems to me there's something going on, but we can't be 100% sure, can we, ladies? It's kind of, there needs to be a bit more, but I would say it's certainly not innocent, but we can't say exactly who. But, the Empress is a little bit of a clue. Anything to add to that, ladies?
No.
All right. Okay, let's move on to the next question. So that's German water. So varied, isn't it? Thailand leadership. Who is Anthony Bourdain, by the way? Sorry,
I'm in love with a dead man. Oh.
I think we need to go there then, don't we? So this question has come in, but I really don't know much about this person. So Lena, would you mind elaborating for me? Why are you in love with this dead man who seems to something sadly seems to have happened? Who is Anthony
Bourdain? Anthony Bourdain started off as a short order cook in New York, and someone asked him to write an article for something. He wrote it. He got a book contract. It's one of those fantasy stories, and then a huge television franchise. And what I love about him, he's a natural sociologist. So he goes to the most obscure places in the world, as well as the most well-known places in the world. And he gets behind the scenes. His thing is food. And food is his way into the culture and the politics wherever he goes. And fantastic. And then got depressed and did himself in.
Yeah. He was so interesting. I really enjoyed watching him in his travels.
I'd recommend anyone who hasn't seen Anthony Bourdain just randomly jump in, and he's a delight.
Yeah, he's wonderful.
Was he the guy? Sorry, Lady G, carry on.
Yeah, that was sad when he committed suicide.
Oh, very sad. Yes. But you must check him out, guys, if you haven't.
Was he the American guy, New York accent, tall, dark-haired American with curly-ish hair?
Not dark-haired. He was sort of going grey by the time he became famous, but he was tall, American accent. He did lots of shows in America, but he also went to Myanmar, and his show on Senegal is the most fantastic thing.
Ooh,
he would go to the Caucasus in the back of Russia, and he would eat anything,
Wow. Okay, well, let me know, ladies, how you both feel about this question.
Okay. I won't hear a word against Anthony. Yes, go on.
No, there's not a word against him, but this is coming from Sherry, and let me know if the both of you want to read on it or not, because it depends how people feel. So Sherry says, I find it hard to believe that people can easily believe that Jeffrey Epstein did not commit suicide and that Anthony Bourdain did. So she goes on to elaborate. Anthony had everything in the world to live for, and according to him and my psychic husband, he did not commit suicide, but was murdered by a jealous associate. What do you think about that? I'm like, shall we read?
I'm not feeling it. I think he had a long history of drugs, like serious drugs. And he talked about that. He was open about that, but he had a 40-year drug history.
I have seen him.
Depression.
I have seen him. I have seen Anthony Bourdain. I have seen a few of his shows.
Yeah,
maybe. Sorry, Lady G, can't.
Sorry, I'm sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
No, Lady G, you're going to say something.
Underlying depression and things as well,
Yes.
and then his relationship was going south.
Yes.
And so that was it. He just, at that point when his relationship went south, he had that underlying depression, and yes, the trouble with drugs for so many years. It got to be too much for him.
Just too much. And they were shooting 230 days of the year or what, some ridiculous schedule. And you're in hotel rooms and it sounds glamorous, but it's exhausting and isolating.
It's not a glamorous life. You're always on the go. You're in a hotel room. You're not really getting to communicate with people. It's a very isolated type of existence in the end. Yeah.
I actually remember, this was years ago now, but I do remember seeing some kind of documentary about him, or he was speaking to camera about his struggles. I remember that now. It's because I've only seen about 2 or 3 of his shows. So it didn't come to me immediately because I've always been into Keith Floyd. Do you remember Keith Floyd?
Yes,
the boozaholic chef. Many people may not know him, but he always had a glass of wine and was always in France in someone's chateau cooking up and, and this kind of stuff. So, sorry about that. So maybe but thank you for elaborating, ladies, on this person's life. It was obviously he made a big impact. So maybe we'll just sidestep on that one because we don't have to pull, of course, cards on every question. And sometimes maybe it's not always appropriate. So let's move on to
I did pull cards on it real quick.
Yeah.
Oh, what did you get?
What I got was, the isolation and the dark times, the difficult times. There was the light on the challenges that he had, very difficult challenges, and it was about his relationship that took a divergent path that went south. Yeah. So I would say, it just says that it got to be too much for him to carry.
Oh, bless him. Well, may he rest in peace. And a lot of people were very, very. He gave a lot of people a lot of pleasure with his work. So he's certainly missed, isn't he? Certainly missed. All right. So let's look at the Democratic Convention. Let's take a little peek on that. So we've jumped in our esoteric aeroplane, everyone. We've gone back to America,
Yeah.
And this is just an interesting one. So Nick Minks again says, as the Democratic Convention begins, does the astrology and the card show, well, I've not done the astrology for it, but do the cards show if this will bring a continuation of the positivity flowing with Kamala's presidential run? Will there be overwhelming unity between the ranks? Most likely. But and says, thanks as anyways, looking forward to another show. So basically, will the Democratic Convention continue this rather incredible run that Kamala is having, or could there be something else happen? Let's have a look.
Let's see if there's any hiccups.
Indeed.
Yep. And I like the way, actually, normally as a woman being called by her first name all the time, I'd be a bit edgy. And I think she's embraced Kamala, and people talk about Kamala, not Harris. You know what I mean? So I think it's a bonding thing with the public that is working, It's
a really good point. And it's such a distinctive name. It's so, because when you say Kamala, you're not talking about anyone else in American politics. It's only her. So she's
and the name now stands and represents so much.
Absolutely. Which is which
hope
has really entered the public consciousness. She really has. All right, Democratic Convention. What's the energy around that? What's the energy around that? Let's see if we have harmony. We don't want to see any towers or anything like that, but let's just see what the cards say. Oh.
Yes, this is curious.
Oh my goodness, you wouldn't believe the card that's turned up here.
Well, let's see. What's that about?
Oh,
Yeah, I know. It's like,
God.
ah.
Yes, I think we're all sort of a bit surprised here.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, who's ready to go first? Well, at least I'm not the only one.
Yes, I know.
I think we're kind of all in that boat at the moment.
Yeah. So there's got to be something to it. So they've taken already the country to a safer place, right? This Two of Cups, I think, is Kamala and Tim Walsh, you know, because the Two of Cups is deep respect. Right? She brings the sword of justice here. And then I get the Devil and the Tower. And I'm going, what? It's like, I don't think it's them. I think it's the other side don't know what to do. They're chained to the Yeti, right, while all this other stuff is going on.
True.
And I think we're witnessing the end, or at least the beginning of the end of the MAGA movement. The GOP has to reinvent itself or crawl into a hole and die. So sometimes the towers are necessary for reinvention down the track. But so I pulled one more card because of all that. America, this is a karmic moment.
Wheel of Fortune. God, these are whoppers. These are not small cards.
No. And I didn't flinch as such. I was surprised with these, but I thought it can't be talking about them. Therefore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Lady G, what do you have?
It's about light on the struggle that's going on. And so the energy coming into it, you know, we've been dealing with the lies and the stuff and what's being fed to people. Now, what they're feeding the people is healthy. Okay, so they're trying to turn it around, give something healthy to the people. True Christian values. Okay, so what's going on now? They're waking people up to, they've been so pushed to the edge. Okay, so they're waking up to that. The challenge is the young people continuing to charge forward with this, having that mental resistance. But the outcome is, again, you got the tower and thing, I got trying to get away with this deceptive thing when it comes to the evil angel church, the evangelicals that are for them, and it's like they're being outed. And so underneath of it all, it's the strong men, these men holding on to power, are being cut. Okay. So the same thing, that this is being outed. And so people are waking up to what's actually been going on.
Wow. Okay, so before I read my cards, I just want to say a few more thank yous. So I want to say thank you, Lisa, for your generous donation. And thank you, Joe, as well. Thank you, Joe. I wonder which Joe that is. I wonder if it's the Joe that I know anyway. But thank you, Joe, very much for your donation. All right, so as is often the tradition, as we see, I pull my cards, and what happens? I get the absolute most dramatic. All right, and as you know, folks, we just say what we see. This is what this show is known for. We say what we see. So the first card that comes up, this does fill me a bit with trepidation. It's the moon.
Yeah.
Now, as we know, the moon is full, nothing is clear by moonlight. It's full of intrigues and stuff like that. But I think these intrigues will emerge. And I think I'm seeing quite a clear picture here. And it's slightly worrying. But anyway, so this sets off the tone of the reading. Here we have the domesticated dog and the wolf, which we know this is the challenge between the bestial side and the more domesticated side, with the weird little lobster coming out in the middle, and the challenge is to walk through the pillars of power. So there's some kind of energy around this democratic convention that people may not be aware of. Now look who shows up in the obstacle. Right. We know what this means, don't we? This is Russia, again, for entertainment purposes only. So someone is, or something is up to something. Yeah. There could be an element of sabotage here, particularly in regards to the King of Cups, which we know is Joe Biden. Yeah. The next card is this, the Ten of Swords. My God, no explanation needed for that. And then look, someone trying to get away with something. So if I just read it as now for entertainment purposes only, but if I just read it verbatim based on everything else, it seems like there's a bit of a dodgy plan afoot, potentially by Russia or Russian allies, because these could be Republicans allied with Russia to maybe affect Joe Biden. But this can also be the democratic process, the Democrats in general, doesn't it? It can talk about that. Some act of betrayal, trying to bring something to an end and trying to get away with something. So
but I don't think that's what am I trying to say? A little bit hungover. I think between us, we've covered the spectrum of what's happening, because none of us should think, here's this wave of joy and it's going to just swan in. They are going to fight to the death. They are going to sabotage this election every waking moment and every way they can. And you're going to have people lying about vote tallies, losing votes, removing post office boxes, And I think you've picked up on why every decent thinking American has to stay on the ball and be vigilant and vote because of exactly that. This is not a normal election.
Yeah. And thanks to that, because. And thanks for adding that little extra layer there, because I think what I've tapped into is almost like the desperation of what the GOP wants to do, because it's just sabotage, isn't it? Murky plans afoot, assisted by Russia, which we know that's the classic for her, to affect democracy with Joe Biden, but it's the Democrats, to bring like the election, sabotage the election, bring it to an end, and then try and get away with it. Try and steal it.
Literally.
Absolutely.
So I think that's all valid.
Yeah.
Gosh, wasn't expecting that though, wasn't it? I was expecting something.
Yes. And your brain was here and it's saying, well, don't forget there's all this that has to be got through first.
Yeah.
But the volume of people, the sheer number of votes, hopefully. I'd even go as far as to say, I think if there were deep shenanigans this time, I think average Americans would be in the street over this, not the MAGA files.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you are, folks. Quite interesting now. I just wanted to say a few more thank yous as well. So we've got Juliana Jones, thank you so much, says, Mamala and Dad are taking the country by the hand and comforting us all as they reassure us that they will take care of us and every little thing's going to be all right. Yes, fingers crossed. And they are Normal. Oh my gosh, how refreshing.
Phew.
How refreshing. And look at
Oh
this.
my goodness.
Is that possible? Oh my goodness.
Have you got the decimal point in the right place? I'm just checking.
Thank you so much. That's incredibly. So
Thanks.
what's NOK then? What is that, a kind of currency, or is that a last name?
Yeah, it might be like Thai baht, and you need
Oh,
3,000 to buy a coffee. I don't know. What is NOK?
Thank you so much for your
That's very generous. Thank you so much.
generous donation. Much appreciated. And we have
Oh,
1,834.
Norwegian crowns.
Ah, it's Norwegian. Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. And there is 1,839 of you in the room right now. Thank you so much, guys. Much appreciated. Hope you're enjoying the show. Are we ready for the next question after that rather dramatic
donation? Thank you so much, Norway.
Yeah, and the cards as well. Not only that, the cards were a bit.
Absolutely, because we don't want to drift off into a euphoric Disneyland.
Yeah, no.
And just relax, you know. So I think it was important that you got those dark cards.
Yeah, the cards, I think, were reminding us all, wasn't it? Were reminding us all. So we've done the Democratic Convention. Now, look, there's one here, because we've got time. Oh, and we must, okay. We need to go to China and talk about Xi Jinping. And then we need to do, there was a Duck L'Orange question. A Cruz and a Hawley, and then someone asking about monkeypox. So maybe we can end up on that one. So let's Wheezy Squeezebox asks this.
Hi,
Xi Jinping has been rarely seen in recent weeks in China. His name is mentioned less frequently in Chinese media. His image has been removed from Chinese billboards, and his books have been removed from Chinese bookstores. Ooh. Oh. Has there been a quiet coup in the Chinese Communist Party?
How fascinating.
I mean, that's a cracker, isn't it? Thank you, Weezy.
Thank you for alerting us to that. I had no idea. And China is our biggest trading partner. And Xi went to university in Australia.
Oh, did he? Wow.
And he actually speaks very good English, but chooses not to, which is a statement too.
Wow. So has there
What's
been a
happened? Let's have a look.
How intriguing.
Because if he wasn't just seen a bit, you think, oh, he might be unwell. But if those things are being removed.
Books removed for me that's a biggie. If you remove any of the leaders' books, I mean, that's big for China. That's really big. I mean, I knew he was going to have some choppy times. He's in that time frame, but wow.
Goodness me.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Okay. Who's ready to pull? We've got some interesting
I think we're all in that.
Yes. Do you want to go, Lady G?
Sure, I'll go. So at the center of it, what's coming down is coming down quite rapidly.
No, me too. Oh my God.
Moving rapidly when it comes to business and the government and the timing of this. Yeah. That the energy coming into it is his life path has caused loss to China. And what's going on now is this toxic thing and eating away. They just said, we need to get rid of this. The challenge is putting an end to it. My friends are looking forward because he's done such bad things for China. It has gone down. They're in difficult times when it comes to buildings. Their tofu buildings, everything's falling. people, they're having really difficult times with monetary stuff. I mean, the whole thing has collapsed. And so the outcome is the strong men have looked at this darker elements of things and have, they've taken over. They're pushing him out.
It's God. Amazing. And because you don't have elections, he can't be voted out. So you have to find another technique.
Wow.
Well, I got it kicked off with the world. Once we catch up, you see why you should watch tarot card readers. You find out things before the rest of the world. So this is going to have a global impact. This, I think, is the hierarchy of the Communist Party at its highest level here, who've decided he's too much of a burden for the reasons that Lady G outlined there. China itself is at a crossroads. So just remember, China went from one form of agricultural economy, everything else jumped over a lot of economic development measures very quickly and became massively wealthy by Western standards, 13% growth as they embraced capitalist ideas. But what happened, like everywhere, the oligarchs took over and ran off with the money. So they have to decide what to do now. So I'm not convinced that the person or people they've put in are altogether kosher in that sense. It's like, is it a play by the hard men in the party? I don't know. We'll see. But I think this will turn out to be a legal case. I don't know how independent the judiciary would be, but could be legal. So,
This is very interesting, and I'll read you my cards. Another, just a quick thank you as well to Connie. Thank you so much for your generous donation. And we've hit 1,900, folks. I think that's a bit of a record, isn't it? Getting up there. Oh, right. This has been a very interesting show tonight because questions that you would normally think would be straightforward, bog standard, we've come up with some real shockers. And this Xi Jinping one has really been quite interesting. So why is he potentially in trouble? Because the economy is stupid, isn't it? That's what they always say. Look, Two of Pentacles, the economy is topsy-turvy. They've not been having, obviously, I mean, look, 13% growth, we all know wasn't sustainable. And someone had to say to the Chinese at some point that the party wasn't going to go on forever. But of course, the Two of Pentacles can talk about not only that manipulation as well, but we can see here in the background, we've got the stormy, choppy waters, the ships of trade, and of course, trying to balance the coin. So if he has been quietly, I don't know, superseded or what have you, it is definitely economic instability is one of the main motives, because this is not a stable card. If it has happened, it certainly happened very quickly. Yeah, we've got the Eight of Wands here. So this is no hanging about. This is one of the fastest cards in the deck, up there with the Knight of Swords and stuff like that, and the Chariot. So we know here, literally, things have just come. And this can also mean kind of almost getting like beatings just coming at you from every direction. It seems if the party has decided to move, you know, like they say, if you aim for the king, you cannot miss. So it may have been, you know, something. I have a feeling now in the middle card, maybe this actually reveals a lot. Could it be that the CCP have concluded that maybe Xi Jinping was delusional in some kind of way? Maybe he got drunk on power. And maybe this is also to do with his decision making as well. They may have thought that he wasn't making clear decisions, maybe the siding with Russia, maybe the aggressions towards, you know, Taiwan, etc. But someone somewhere in the party has been questioning the judgment. So if this is Xi Jinping, then maybe it seems to me he may have made a few errors in judgment. Yeah, seven of cups. Someone is exiting stage left. I mean, just look.
Yeah.
So either way, someone is wanting him to exit the stage. I don't know quite how they do it in China. Once upon a time in Russia, they used to play Swan Lake to let you know that the leader was dead. I don't think it's going to be quite that dramatic, but someone is having to exit stage left. And just in case we weren't sure that maybe someone has to go, look at the outcome card.
Oh, wow.
8 of Cups. So there really could be something to this.
Indeed. And we've got a request here for Shakespeare on Xi.
Oh, yes. Yes.
While you're getting that out, another thing that he has done, you know, with all the floods and things that have happened there, he opened the floodgates to protect one little area that was his and destroyed a whole village, destroyed all these people.
People don't
Yes,
like
and a lot of people died. Let me just
On
find
as well as the tofu buildings and people buying these places that are half done. They can't get in there, and they're still having to pay, and so it's just a nightmare there. So he's really screwed the people there.
Yes. And also with any country with oligarchs, and we tend to point our fingers out from our countries, you know, as if we don't have wealthy businessmen who influence things. But as we understand oligarchs in the big picture, how do you get rich? You dominate, you're given a monopoly on some industry or something. That's the most common way. And then you take shortcuts to maximize your profits. So you build the cheap dam, the cheap apartment block, the cheap everything, and then it falls over. You know.
And do you also know as well, you ladies, you may know this, but it's worth repeating. China has overcounted its population.
It's got real demographic problems. Yeah,
absolutely. They say it overcounted its population by 100 million, and the reason why is when they took the census, was local corruption, because the more people that you had in your district, the more funding you would get from the government. So they fiddled the numbers, leading the Chinese leadership to believe there were 100 million more people in the country, and therefore they based a lot of policy on that. And it's really kind of going south because, of course, they don't have enough people to sustain themselves. So thank you, Dr. Liz, so much for your donation. And thank you, Robin's Nest, as well, for your donation. And whose turn is it to call? I think it's Lady G. I think, isn't it your turn? Yeah, I think so.
Go, Lady G.
Right, so let's see here. So this is what, I don't think we've had the Bard on Xi Jinping yet. No. So this is what the Bard thinks of Xi Jinping. You know the routine, Lady G. Just tell me where to stop.
And stop.
Oh, this is interesting. So this is from The Passionate Pilgrim. I don't think we've heard of this one before. So it says here, words are easy like the wind. Faithful friends are hard to find. I mean, what can you say? The Bard never fails.
No. Oh dear.
I mean, that is just too perfect, isn't it? Words are easy like the wind, talking about his rhetoric and stuff like that. Faithful friends are hard to find. He's in trouble, isn't he?
He's in much bigger trouble than we realized quarter of an hour ago.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks for that question.
Thanks for that question.
That was a cracker. And I just love that with the show, because you just, like, as you see, guys, we never know what the cards are going to say. We just have to say what we see. And then the Bard just comes in and just hammers the nail. Right, let's see how much we've got time for. One more.
Yeah.
Let's have a little look at, so of course we've done the Democrats.
I don't know. I don't think we even need to read anymore. Just get the Bard, let him answer the questions.
Extraordinary. I mean, like, it's so succinct. Everything that we've said,
Every
and then the
time.
Bard just comes in and ties a bow on it. It's just incredible. So here we are. So Ashley Song has asked. So back to America again. Says, hello, HoGaLe's, the best card readers out there. Ah, thank you, Ashley. That's very kind of you. Says, can you three read if Ted Cruz and Hawley will potentially lose their upcoming re-elections, please? And she says they're both horrible and hoping their states will vote them out, for goodness sake. So shall we do 3 cards for Cruz, 3 cards for Hawley each?
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea. So Cruz.
Let's do Cruz. God, Cancun Cruz. Oh, and we've got to squeeze in a bit of Shakespeare as well on Ted Cruz, haven't we? We've done him for a while. Cancun Cruz. What's going on with him and his state?
Ted Cruz.
I can't believe the Bard. That was just so uncanny. Who's ready to go?
I'm
not. I just changed decks. So if Lady G can go.
Yeah, I can go. So we start with Cruz. And for Cruz, starting with Cruz, he's trying to figure a way forward, but he's got a bit of a fly in the ointment when it comes to that. You know, he's under the illusion of Trump's help with things, but Trump, you know, the narcissist, it's going to end his thing. It's, you know, that's the end of that. And then for Hawley, at the center of, there's some hidden things going on when it comes to younger adults, younger people with Hawley. Coming into it, you know, he's got a lot of pie in the sky type things that are key. And actually, the Democratic Party is struggling with him. They're just, you know, so it's not looking good for either of them, actually.
What do you have, Lena, for Cruz and
Josh Hawley? Well, I moved to the circus deck because, you know. So first Cruz. Okay, this is the moon card here. So it's still got the woofing dogs. I don't know that he's that mentally stable, actually. But in any event, he's being a hermit. You know, he's keeping a low profile. And he's hoping, this is the Emperor card, he's hoping that the GOP machine, this is often my trump card, just hauls him out. Because this hermit, I don't think he's done anything for anybody in his entire career. Then Josh Hawley, not looking marvellous, love. He gets the 5 of Wands, like the act is old, even though Hawley himself's not ancient or anything. He's got nothing new, and people aren't that interested. Many people think he's a fool, including the Dems. However, the Magician card. So I think he's got a better chance of being saved by the apparatus of the Republicans. In a way, hope to be wrong, but people don't respect him or like him any more than they do Cruz.
Yeah.
So interesting, and I just want to say as well, we've got over 2,000 of you joining us here live.
Oh, we've broken a record.
We've broken a record. It's 2021. So that is a record for us, guys. So we really, really appreciate it. Really appreciate all of the support and all that stuff. And please, of course, don't forget to like and subscribe and share and all that stuff to support the show. And the ladies' links to their shows will also be in the video description, which I'll add post show. All right, so Cruz. All right, this is what I got. Looks like he's got a little bit of a fight on his hands, doesn't he? So here he is on the hill trying to defend his position. I mean, neither man is that popular, but I mean, who even talks about Cruz anymore? Obviously,
Yeah. He got the hurt. He's disappeared.
Yeah, he's shown up. So here he is. He still thinks he's the Don. He still thinks that he's got lots of clout and a lot of power. However, he does get the Sun as the outcome card. So I don't know, maybe he might be able to pull something out of the tank or what have you. So he might be, basically, it looks like he's gonna really fight for his position, and because he is sort of well known. Or could it be, is this a return to the Sun? Is he going back to Cancun? Because it can literally mean sunny locations. So it could just be like, oh, I'm tired of this, I'm tired of fighting, I'm going on holiday. It can literally sometimes mean that. With Hawley, this is interesting. He's kind of looking at his investments, you know, the energy that he's put into his career and all that kind of stuff, when of course he's not sprinting down the hallway trying to escape from the raging mob. Yeah. He does actually have some concerns. Actually, it does seem that he does have some worries that we may not be aware of. And his outcome card is the Five of Pentacles, being out in the cold, the poverty card of sickness and stuff like that. So for me, actually, even though apparently he's leading in his race, his cards actually are quite a bit more difficult than Cruz's. So I don't know. We'll have to see what happens with Hawley. There might be some unexpected. He might have quite a health concern that he's worried about. Could be he could have something there, but we'll have to see. But you know, not the best characters anyway. But can you believe? Look, the time has gone in a flash. So I want to say thank you to everyone for joining us as always. You know, the Bard again, just uncanny. And thanks to those questions, guys. And the cards were very interesting, weren't they, ladies? What actually?
Yeah, great questions. Thank you, everyone.
Yes.
Yeah, we had some surprises there. So we will leave it there for now. Of course, you will be seeing us next week. So we look forward to taking your questions. Thank you as well, you guys, for helping us break a record today. That's the first time we've kind of gone over the 2,000 mark. Now it's 2033, so it went up even further. Thank you as well for all of your kind donations as well. We really appreciate that. And of course, that gets shared with the ladies as well. So we will see you next week. It's a bye-bye for now, and we look forward to being with you again soon. All right. Bye-bye for now, everyone.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.